When Victor Wembanyama threw an elbow at Nasri's throat, he wasn't just mad. He was making a statement, because Wemby is answering a question we never thought we'd ask. What happens if the NBA's most impossible alien skill set gets combined with the competitive psycho gene that pushed Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant to all-time greatness? Because Wemby has the scars on his arm of a man who defenses have tried to physically intimidate. We saw Minnesota try, but we also saw all series long, Wemby responded. In Game 5, he became the third youngest player with 25, 15, and 5 in a playoff game. And Anthony Edwards' face says it all. The NBA thought a young Wemby could be bullied, but instead, they've forced him to unleash his own dark side. A dark side that is quickly making him, in year 3, not only the best player in the entire NBA, but also a man who is actually ahead of the game's 2 GOATs when it comes to one thing. It took Michael Jordan 5 seasons to reach the conference finals. It took LeBron 4. Wemby has now made it in year 3, and he is also the youngest defensive player of the year award winner ever. But most importantly, he is already the best player on one of the best teams in the NBA. Now, this is not a GOAT talk video. It's way too early for that. But I do need to ask you, when it comes to young players, when is the last time we've seen anything like this? In the first playoff game of his life, Wemby had 35 points and connected on 5 threes as he showed us the lights were not too bright for him. The Spurs' young core went to work and the Blazers went down quickly. And then in game 1 against the Wolves, there was Victor with a 12-block triple-double. A stat line that honestly caused some controversy because a tweet from House of Lowlights went viral saying almost all Wemby's blocks were goaltends or fouls. But watching the clips here, I think 2 or 3 may have been goaltends or fouls. All is certainly an exaggeration. I do think the refs need to tighten up on their calls, but I also think this block where Wemby missed the ball with one hand and blocked it with the other is one of the best blocks I've ever seen. And it's interesting how much hate this tweet generated. Like a lot of young stars, Wemby might soon be the victim of his own success. Everyone loves you until you beat their favorite team in the playoffs, and until you talk relentless trash while doing so as a seemingly unfair freak of nature. And I say that in the kindest way possible because, by all projections, Victor is going to be named first team All-NBA this season. Jokic, Giannis, and Steph were not even all-stars in year 3. And looking at the best young playoff performers we've ever seen, legends like Magic, Bird, and Duncan, they were excellent to begin their NBA careers because they had longer college careers first. Wemby came into the NBA at just 19. He had arguably the most hype since LeBron James, and he is somehow surpassing what we thought was possible. Let's remember that the Spurs over-under for wins headed into this season was just 44.5. They won 62 games. Last season, they won 34 games. An insane turnaround, but one of the biggest reasons for this success is that Wemby's talent is already combined with a supremely confident frame of mind. And I get it. Comparing Wemby's mindset to Michael Jordan's sounds insane, except Victor has said things like this.
Who is the best player in the NBA right now?
I think Jokic is the best offensive player. I don't think he's the best player. It's hard to say. I think it was between Giannis and Shea. When I would come back on the court, I think it'll be me.
In year 3, he already believes he's the best player in the league. Before he came into the NBA, when he was asked how he'd handle the hype, Wemby told us he was built for this and that his goal was to be like something you've never seen. When he was asked about Scoot Henderson, a potential rival for the #1 pick, Wemby's response was, he's a really great player. If I was never born, I think he would deserve the first spot. With these kinds of words, Wemby has shown us that he has the unshakable self-belief that all of the all-time greats have. But we know, talk can be cheap. That's why moments like this were so important to see. Here, Draymond blocks Wemby on a tough shot that goes out of bounds. Dre then walks up to Wemby and starts talking trash in his face. So what's Wemby's response?
Former defensive player of the year. It's into Wembanyama with a jackhammer! Rocks the rim! Fouled on the play! Words after it! We need more of that!
It doesn't matter if you're a future Hall of Famer, Wemby does not back down from any challenge. And we need to remember, a Michael Jordan type of mindset is not built immediately. First, Mike had to prove, just like Wemby is doing now, that if someone stepped up to him, he'd obliterate them. In game 3 against the Wolves, Wemby had 39 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 blocks. Superstar stats, but also, it's almost impossible to truly account for the gravity of what Wemby brings. Players avoid putting up shots near the rim against him, often making awful passes out of drives just so they can avoid being blocked. Then on offense, Wemby is such a crazy lob threat that his teammates are often getting wide open threes or easy drives to the basket because the defense needs to stay on him. The term unfair when it comes to Wemby's play gets tossed around a lot because it's true, because on top of the talent, the psycho level of competitiveness he has been just hiding in plain sight. In fact, against the Thunder, I would say Wemby targets these moments. In the regular season, watch here as Alex Caruso shoves Wemby with his offhand on a jumper. In the replay, we see after making the shot, Wemby yells and points right at Caruso in response. The Wolves tried to get physical. They tried to rough him up. They only poked the bear and paid the price. In game 5, in a move that many felt was targeted to try and get Wemby to emotionally react again, Ayo walked up to Victor and got in his face, to which Wemby just started swatting away both Ayo and Ant's hands because he had learned. He has said for a long time his mission is to win championships, and his emotions needed to be used in the game, not with his elbow.
Yeah, I feel like the rage baiting would have been maybe one of the strategies. So
some of the stuff that Wemby was doing, you don't really have too much of an answer for it. Just kind of hope he misses.
But this elbow was also important as a one-time deal. A lot of people believe that Wemby should have been suspended for at least one game after this play, but instead the NBA decided they were going to lean into it. On the Game 5 broadcast, Reggie Miller openly said,
"What did I say at the top? Sometimes violence is needed." And the response,
you don't need to
after that.
You don't need to repeat. We heard it the first time.
you are definitely a 70s baby, man.
The NBA has been trying to take the league away from fights and trash talk for years, but as viewership fell, it appears the league has clearly changed their mind enough to allow some more physicality and trash talk in their game, which I love, and I also have no problem with a first-time offender in Wemby not getting suspended for a playoff game. You might think differently, but even if you do, I think you'll agree the competitive Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant psycho gene that lies inside of Wemby is creating instant entertainment for all of us. When LeBron was on his path as the young GOAT, he moved quietly and wasn't calling out people directly. Wemby has decided that in order to be the best player he possibly can be, he needs to choose rivals and then destroy them. And who better than the Oklahoma City Thunder? After beating the Thunder this season, Wemby took shots directly at them by saying he was happy to be playing ethical basketball.
I'm just glad to be a part of something that's growing to be so beautiful and pure and ethical basketball, you know?
Which we already love. But Wemby's real target on the Oklahoma City roster is one man, Chet Holmgren. It really feels like with Chet, Victor has tapped into NBA rivalries of the past and truly hates this man. Possibly because when you are as competitive as Victor is, any type of big loss haunts you. Now let me ask you something. If you were a top tier basketball player playing for your country's national team and you put up 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 blocks in a 2-point loss in the World Cup finals, would that loss when you were 17 years old still eat at you 5 years later? Or would you be happy to cement yourself on scouts draft boards as the future #1 pick? For Wemby, the answer is he cannot get over losing the 2021 U19 World Cup finals, specifically to Chet Holmgren. Now, Chet only had 10 points in these finals, but he was named MVP of the entire tournament with the win. Early on in their NBA careers, a story emerged that Wemby did not like Chet after he did not dap him up after a game in their rookie season. Since then, Wemby has stared down Chet after a dunk.
Goes quick against Holmgren and slammed it home. Put his shoulder into Chet.
Openly celebrated after Chet missed a free throw.
Big in this game.
Holmgren now 9.
And told the media that from a basketball standpoint, there is no comparison between him and Chet. Chet finished second in Defensive Player of the Year voting this season, which I'm sure Wemby loved. And one of the funniest parts of this rivalry is that it's one-sided. On Paul George's podcast, Chet said,
"People will be like, y'all got beef?" I'm like, beef?
Yeah.
We're out there competing, but beef means like when I see you, like we're fighting.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Why do I got beef with him? I honestly don't even know the guy. Like we just play basketball against each other.
But Wemby doesn't agree. He is forced forcing this beef. Mark Spears reported that one of Victor's biggest motivations coming into this season was that Chet now has a championship specifically, and Victor does not. Which means with the 2026 Western Conference Finals, Victor Wembanyama is getting exactly what he has been dreaming of. In his career, Wemby is going to get a ton of chances to prove himself. If he's able to get lucky with his health, he's going to have a lot of chances to build his resume towards being an all-time great, or maybe he even does hit that rarefied GOAT race and possibly GOAT status. But this first playoff series versus Chet is going to be remembered. With a trip to the finals on the line, Wemby is going against the one guy who drives him more than anyone, the one guy he's mad at for winning a championship. And if I'm being honest, I don't think Chet is ready for what's to come. So there we have it. Thank you for watching today's video. If you did, I really think you're going to like the videos that are on the screen. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. You are awesome. We all know it. And as always, have an awesome day and cue that music.